Look, I don't care how independent she is. Give her some money, buy her stuff, pay for her rent. All women want a man that's gonna cash app. Before you go diving in her DMs, do you already got your Cash App or your Apple Pay loaded up, ready to send her a rack off gate? And y'all sitting up there calling the woman females. That's dehumanizing. Women hate fake tricks. Don't backpedal and act like, oh, I ain't got it, or let me wait till Friday. Why you even offer in the first place? You just met shorty. Send her 20K off gate. Just because you got bread, that don't oppress her. Giving it to her, dude. I'm just giving out gems. Text her what you doing. She say, shoot at work. Pay for her day off, fellas. Pay for her off for the rest of the week. You just in a line of other brothers just trying to get at her.
We need to force our ways in and make ourselves comfortable. Understand? And make it so they have to cater to us just because. If she wanted to, she would. We can't confirm. But all jokes aside, though, I'm not going to lie. In 2026, there has been a rise in this pandering epidemic. As you can see in the next couple of videos, this needs to be stopped. We can confirm. Because we know they're not giving advice. They're just social justice warriors that they're fiending for some attention. But we can confirm we need to expose the layers under it. It's an onion at the end of the day. These guys are just fiending for an ounce of validation so they get the attention they've been craving for. But let's get into the videos. Now, but all jokes aside, we need to talk about the real problem of 2026. We can confirm, which is the rise of male panderers on TikTok. And when I say male panderers, I'm talking like Jamal, and those like. And I'm not gonna lie, today we need to break down and understand what the fuck they got going on.
Can I have $40,000?
To do what with?
I just want $40,000.
You like?
Can I have $40,000?
The bear over the man when it came to being trapped in the woods for any considerable amount of time, right? Not thinking all of this through. You chose the bear because you believe, and social media has convinced you, and society has convinced you, that all men are inherently evil, right? Right. So when a person asks you a question that says, if you were trapped in the woods, would you rather be trapped with a man or would you rather be trapped with a bear? You immediately chose the bear because you just think there's no way I could ever trust a man. When the average when the average bear would literally rip you in half with one half strike, not even full one half strike, you still chose the bear over the man. And to be honest, you mostly didn't even believe what the fuck you were saying. You just wanted to fit in with what every other lady was saying on social media.
To me, it's both kind of funny, but also just sad that there are still men who are triggered that women are picking the bear over us. Because to me, it just shows that, there's a lot of men who just either don't want to or just don't have any empathy at all for women, who don't want to take the time to understand, women's perspectives, to understand where they're coming from, to understand why they're picking the bear. Because when it first started to trend, the whole man versus bear topic, when it first started to trend, I understood from the jump. Like, I knew why women were picking the bear. The unfortunate reality that we live in is that there's a lot of women who have been essayed, raped, harassed, stalked, abused, have had to just deal with, a lot of crazy shit from us as men. And they'd rather take their chances with a wild bear.
And this is the thing, right? I understand the logic behind this idiocy, right? But I'm not even going to do the analogy where we switch the roles, because we already know it's rooted in delusion off the bat. But let's say if we said we're going to ban women being allowed to be left alone with their children because they unalive them the most. Would there be an uproar? Let's just stop this. Let's say men do unalive women on a crazy amount. No one's ever denying that. But they also unalive men. More so. Why are we trying to differentiate, make women seem like you know what I'm saying? I thought we were equal. No, adding up. But let me focus up real quick. The first video, confiscate that money from me. You don't deserve it. See what the problem is with this type of linear, like this stupidity thinking, right? Men, like, they feel emotion differently than women. That's a simple fact. But the fact is, when women convey their emotions, i.e., crying, even if they feel a bit of anger, is grabbed a different way. Understand? It's like perceived a different way. When a man feels his emotions, most of the time they're not taught how to express them. You know this. But whenever a man expresses his emotions, of course, off the back demonized. Then what does that do? Of course, he's meant to push it down. And then obviously, ball effect. My whole thing is, why are we normalizing this? This delusion of your grief and all that is an excuse for your bad behavior. Let's keep a whole buck. When men do stupid stuff, they suffer the consequences. When women are on this delusional path, they go on TikTok. Why are we allowing broken people to lead other broken people? I think we need to add like a filter. I think we need to start banning people for stupidity. I'm gonna be honest. Like they gotta go. Like, am I bugging for this? Why are we normalizing just pushing our own grief onto other people? What the fuck are we talking about? Stop this.
The single greatest piece of dating advice for young men is to remind them that they're not needed. I know that sounds mean, but just bear with me here. I'm saying you remind them that they're not needed. You remind them that it's not the 1950s anymore. There's a mistake that people make whenever they hear that phrase. You know, oh, we're not living in the 1950s anymore. People think it means like, oh, that's when racism was bad or sexism was bad or women were excluded from power. We all know that part. That's the obvious bit. That's not the bit that I think a lot of young men are missing. I think the bit that they're missing is that when it comes to romantic relationships and connections, women do not need us anymore. Not financially, not structurally, not socially. This isn't to diss men. I'm not doing that. I'm not attacking men. I'm just telling you that the world that some of you may be hoping for is long gone. Being needed is no longer enough. You have to be wanted. You have to be desired. Most women today are not waiting to be saved or chosen or rescued into a life. They already have lives. They already have stability. They already have community. And that community is full of platonic male and female friendships. So the question is no longer, what do you provide? But do I want you here? I'm dating someone now who earns very well. She does not need my money. She doesn't need me to fix her life. You may see some of those big pieces of paper on the wall. Those are hers. This is a qualified lady. One of those is a PhD. There's nothing I could do for her that she could not technically do for herself. She's choosing me to be here because she wants me here. That's the shift. It's not just financially as well, it's socially, you know. Divorce used to be such a sort of society ender for a lot of women. They wouldn't be able to access society in the way. You look at like TV shows like The Gilded Age, which are
I feel like this is the main problem with society nowadays, right? They keep pushing this ideology of women don't need men. Men don't need women. Humans are sociable creatures. We all need each other. Men need women, and women do need men. I don't understand why we're acting like this is some gotcha like style. Women are needed for creation. We know this. Men are needed companionship. Women are needed for companionship. And humans to, you know what I'm saying? Be together. Like, I don't understand why we're acting like that. The finances and all that is the goal. Plus, companionship is the main goal. Companionship is the goal of relationships. And bringing up platonic relationships and all of that, let's be real, it's not the same as a relationship. That's why there's different sections between a friend and you know what I'm saying, a significant other. Like, I don't understand why we're trying to belittle the union of a man and a wife. I don't understand.
I'm convinced men won't be okay until they learn to love each other the way that women love other women. I just rewatched Dying for Sex. I also rewatched Station 11 and Fleischman is in Trouble. Great shows, by the way. Fleischman and Dying are both on Disney+, so you should check them out. But it was Dying for Sex in particular that hit me again and hit me really hard. On the surface, it's about a woman who's exploring her relationship to physical intimacy whilst also knowing that she's dying. It's very intimate, it's very shocking at times, it's very raw, and it's all based on this, loosely based on this real woman. But when you really watch it, it doesn't really feel like it's about that kind of physical intimacy. The thing that really hits you and stays with you is the relationship to her best friend. Their love for one another is violent. Not towards each other, but just in the act. It hits you violently, you know, it's aggressive, it's feverish. I've never had that with a male friend of mine. And I know that a lot of men haven't had that either. I maybe should caveat and say straight men in particular.
Once again, this is bringing me back to my original point of the repeated attempts of society nowadays to feminize men. Men and women are different. Men and women experience emotions differently. Men and women experience society differently. I don't understand why we keep trying to intertwine it. Like, and they try every emotion that a man has, they try to suppress it and make it more feminized recently as well. But my whole thing is, what is this? In conclusion, we need to come to the understanding and the middle ground that men and women both have their individual. Women have theirs, men have theirs. The reason why society is where it is now is because this intersectionality, trying to make it seem like anyone could do anything. Nobody. It's just gonna make everyone more depressed. If you guys enjoyed the video, like and comment, subscribe. I'm gonna catch you in my next one.